Welcome back. If you got a like, comment, or subscribe, I would appreciate it. Anything you can do for the channel helps me put more back into the channel for you. Speaking of, we got the clutch on. We got the flywheel on. I don't even remember where we left off last. I think where we left off last, we did not have the flywheel on. And that was kind of the next step. So I got this on this Cobalt two-wheel cart that expands into a four-wheel cart that can actually traverse dirt pretty well when it has this much engine on it. Knowledge and torque specs I was able to figure out is the flywheel gets torqued to about 65 foot-pounds, and the pressure plate gets torqued to about, what was it? I want to say 25 or 35. I did 30 because this is an aftermarket flywheel. I also able to find that out. So that's pretty cool. Of course, this is aftermarket clutch disc and pressure plate. I think I videoed the clutch disc a while back. I was going over all the stuff I was going to put into the vehicle. So at this point, and for the love of God, I mean, I've seen other people work on the pilot bearing on this thing, which is the bearing that the input shaft more or less rests on. It should never really be under any stress because everything else is just working with the spline. But if your input shaft has any play in the transmission, the pilot bearing starts helping it out a bit. Anyway, that thing was a pain. There's actually a seal that goes in the front of it. My kit didn't come with a new one, at least not that I've been able to find. I've been going over all my parts, haven't found anything, so I'm assuming that's either an oversight or it just doesn't need to be replaced nearly as often as everything else. So thankfully mine is good enough it was reusable and nothing leaks past it. The inside of the eccentric shaft where the pilot bearing rests is just a cavity, so pretty much the only thing that's keeping from coming back out is any grease on the needle bearings. So got all that stuff on, get the pilot bearing replaced, put the seal back in, and it's ready to go. I'm still gonna have to wait for a nice, warm, dry, preferably a little bit windy day to get this out there because I need the yard to be firm, and I don't want to be laying down on my back when it's 30 degrees out like it is right now. Because even here in the garage, it's still not heated. It probably never will be again, but it's extremely cold to be doing this. I did pick up a universal, more or less, kit of those little clampy doos, little spring guys. I like those, especially a lot better than probably needs to process hose clamps. And this kit comes from sizes, that's like the second smallest. There's one even smaller than that, which I don't think I'll ever be able to use. And they go really big. I forget how big, at least 3/4, if I recall correctly. It's either 3/4 or 5/8. Is that math right? I don't think so. Who knows? But I picked up a kit of those a while back. I think it was like $11, and it has been worth it ever since because they keep a constant spring pressure on whatever they're on, and it's not too much pressure. Like the size of the unit overall is what is necessary. It's not really much more. Like this hose, this one is trying to fall off all the time. I can still pull this off, but it's considerably harder than it was before. Also, a lot of these are old vacuum hoses, so that's a big part of it too. I probably won't use those for anything with coolant like that. I'll keep the hose clamps on there because those actually have to fight back the pressure from the water pump. But back to the main point, this thing is ready to go. Like, completely. Just gotta wait for a decent day, chuck it in the vehicle, and it'll be done. I know I've recorded a lot of these videos over the past couple weeks. Like, I think this one's going to be getting uploaded the 2nd or 3rd week of April. Right now it is the 2nd week of March, so things are a little bit out of place, which is kind of really terrible because it's snowing right now for some reason. So when I do get this thing going, I'm probably still not going to be going out and driving it. But to a degree, it should, should just have it turn on and sit there and pump fluids and clean out any air bubbles. Picked up a nice coolant reservoir filler kit thing, which is basically a massive funnel that has fittings that pretty much perfectly screw into your radiator or where your radiator cap would go. And then you can just keep topping off the funnel. That way you don't get any air into the system. And when you're done, it actually has a thing you can close off and you can pour the excess coolant back into a container, which is also really, really cool. So that'll be fun to use. Anyway, this is going to be it for me for a while. So this means this video is probably going to sit on my phone for a hot minute because this is not going to be enough content for a video. So hopefully the next clip will be maybe a photo of getting the vehicle propped up and ready for the retransplant, whatever you want to call it. Reinstallation, there we go. I don't quite remember where we left off last time. It's going to be a little bit windy for this though, but e-brakes on. When you're doing this and you don't have the luxury of a 2-post lift, you need to be able to get in here to pretty much have the first part of the engine mount on. Then you need to lower the position in place, attach the second part, and then fit them together. So that's gonna be fun. There's probably a way you could shim it in there otherwise. This is how I took it out. That's how it's going back in. Mostly didn't have all those accessories on here before. But I got this up here, got it on jack stands. And the one thing I recommend doing, which probably helps that I'm about 400 pounds, is you just find a solid part of the vehicle, walk up and body the thing. And if it's rock solid like that and ain't moving, you're good. If it's got a little bit of wiggle, it's probably okay. If it's got a lot of bit of wiggle, or of course falls off the jack stands, you're gonna need to rethink your structure. I don't know why I have runny nose right now. It's like 70 degrees for the first time all year. Anyway, so we got that up there. I got the cherry picker over here ready to just slide right in. Hopefully that's going to go somewhat smoothly. Probably could have tried to line this up better, but we're going to roll with it. This is actually a pretty small garage, as well as garage door opening. If we didn't have that shelving unit right there, maybe even then just tried to move some stuff around, this would actually probably fit in here better than any vehicle we've had so far. Which is unfortunate. I don't plan on keeping it too long after it starts running because I need money. Anyway, I think tomorrow I'm going to try to do the first fit into it. We'll go from there. It's at a good position to sit for the rest of the day. My back hurts and I'm exhausted. Been doing other stuff too, but also just coming back and forth to this thing and tidying up the engine bay. I reinstalled the first part of this mount over here. The other one stayed in there because it didn't need to come out. So fun. Kind of deciding, especially since I'm starting a job soon, I'm going to have an income. I think I'm going to drop about the $150 some odd before shipping to go from Mazda's website and get the parts that mount to the bottom of the headlight housing, as well as over here to actually properly retain the bumper, because apparently those get brittle and break after about 20 years. Otherwise, I picked up these guys where you essentially drill a couple holes and use these mega-sized rubber bands that can catheterize or castrate. That's the one, a blue whale. But you use those and you tie it up, and those are supposed to hold it on somewhat decently. I might end up needing those at other positions on this. We'll see. For the most part, that seems like it should be good. This thing's surprisingly light and easy to push around even on the muddy dirt and gravel, especially without the engine in it. So that was nice. Just kind of had to pull it back with the vehicle because it sunk in the ground over there. Then I could just come, steer a little bit, push it, steer a little bit, push it. Oh, I might be an idiot. Put the jack stands there. They're going to be in the way for the cherry picker. So I'm probably going to have to move those guys back here. I think that's what I did last time. I just forgot about it as I was putting them on there. So I'm going to go ahead and change that around. Basically, let's move them back onto the frame rather than being directly underneath the lower control arm. Fun. So yeah, I'll just try to have some photos as we go along here. It's not going to be easy to do some stuff, stop and take a video and describe it. So let's have some fun. All right, literally just corrected that issue. So I was looking at this, pretty much where the exhaust flange ends is right where the cherry picker ends. So let's see if I can adequately show this. Yep, there's the flange. And we got a few more inches until we get to the actual jack stand. Plus, as this goes forward, that's going to recess and whatnot, so geometry is going to work out. We'll have more than enough clearance now. And of course, I went back through and bodied the entire vehicle just to make sure nothing was going to shift. Of course, I'm going to be leaving this at least overnight, maybe more depending on how I end up feeling. So, yeah. This should be set up and ready to go to get this shoved back in there. A few cosmetic pieces to slap on. And by cosmetic, I might be referring to the crash bar / legitimate bumper. And the air intake, of course. Also, I think it was the first or second video. I think we're going to go ahead and say it was the first video where I had this thing up on a couple of logs. We're going to have to do that again in order to put the bell housing bolts back on, because that's what I had to do to take them off, as well as get under there to get the rear O2 sensor unplugged. And there's a couple, there's actually 4 tiny ones. Oh, there they are. These guys plug onto the transmission, so I'll need to plug those back in. Hopefully those are going to just line up, because I did not mark those. Worst case scenario, just got to put 1/2 on ramps, although I think the ramps I have are a little too steep for this. We'll probably just have to jack up half the car. Yeah, that seems about right for this whole project. So, got the oil and coolant for this, running to thicker oil. I think I still went with Valvoline. Need to drink some water. And nothing too fancy. High mileage, full synthetic. Whole purpose of the Stone adapter kit is to bypass needing to burn oil, so should work out decently. I guess one thing I didn't really consider is the top of the cherry picker potentially running into the top over here, but it should be mostly under the vehicle before, or there's going to be a better range here where the engine's going to have to go. But I think we'll end up clearing it, thankfully, hopefully. Gotta find out the hard way. That's what to make sledgehammers for, right? Remodel your garage. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. As of literally today, I have 2 weeks before I start at the new job. So that basically leaves the rest of this week, which today is Monday, Eclipse Day. And next week all together, and then gotta start the new job. Woohoo! Which means I'm not going to have any real good time, let alone daylight, to do this project, because it's about 40 minutes away. So yeah, we're going to have to kind of start picking up the ball with this whole thing. Why did they mention putting it on logs? Oh, when I go to put it on logs, I'm going to try to, can't see it too well from here, at least I can't see it on the screen, fix up all of those little guys for the oil cooler, the little fins. Should just be able to get in there with a tiny flathead and straighten them out. Most of them anyway. Don't really have a way to solve that before or from happening again. Maybe I'll try to get a mesh or something and put it in there. Likely I'll end up leaving that for the next person to decide what they want to do. So fun. 1.5 million things I want to do to this. Somehow it's actually cheaper to put this on the insurance than the Prius. Oh, can't really see that, can you? Nope, can't see that. White car and it's sunny outside. But it also only gets it's supposed to get about 20 to the gallon. I didn't do any kind of compression testing on this engine. I'm probably still not going to do any compression testing because I don't even know where you gotta go to rent a rotary compression tester. And also, if I was gonna fix anything, it would have been when it was out. So, fun. See y'all later.